Hey you guys, it's Saving Life Mattered. It's Joseph David Barkis, and I'm making this video after making a 30-minute long video about morals, ethics, and human rights in the United States of America. And I was asking our president, our leader of the United States of America, to take executive order, executive command, and to recognize what our military is capable of doing, let alone DHS, let alone the Federal Bureau of Investigations, fusion centers that are obviously doing some pretty heinous and disgusting artificial intelligence, unethical, unmoral, breaking every law in the book to invade the human anatomy of the most precious thing, which is your human brain. And since the administration Bush was 2002 for Homeland Security, we have Homeland Security, DHS, and we have fusion centers, and we have private sectors that are all across the United States of America, and we have targeted individuals in our own country that are non-investigated subjects, that are not terrorists, that are innocent people that are suppressed, that are weak, and that have been targeted maliciously, purposely. And it is a part of the Great Reset. It is a part of population control. And for this to be happening in our country is the most disgusting, most horrific thing to happen to a human being. And they wanted to say it started with animals. I can only imagine what animals have gone through, but through my experience and what I go through is 24/7 psycho torment, voice to skull, synthetic voice technology, and it's cerebral spyware, and that's half of what Americans have, and you don't even know it. And targeted individuals have mental malware. And that's like having a Trojan, like a worm, like a virus in your brain. So as so many Americans are being used through artificial intelligence and having their brain hacked, through large corporations, through private sectors, through DHS, through fusion centers, the democracy of our country, it's supposed to be a democracy. Now, if we look and we really figure out what our president is trying to say about all the jobs being fulfilled, I just want to ask our president, where are all these jobs being fulfilled at? Because from what I'm gathering and from what I see Homeland Security, and I see all of the federal, local, tribal, state, government-funded employees that have taken a major rise in employment. And I want to know how many of these employees are paid off through soliciting, through foreign involvement. And I would like to know how our politicians, our Senate, our legislative, our judicial system is completely either unethical, unmoral, or uneducated, or just completely left in secret. And I know through reading some of the largest, most biggest United States Supreme Court cases against voice to skull, VK2 voice technology, and psycho torment, it's real. And there's over 100,000 people, at least globally. I know there's at least 50,000 to 25,000 targeted individuals that suffer 24/7 daily through this kind of psycho torment. And intelligence radiation and these 5G towers and 6G towers that have been not regulated or policed or are in beta and experimental stages, they are responsible for what's happening, and they are causing crime. They're causing mass shootings. They're causing people to hurt themselves. And this is all a vicious cycle inside of our government. And I believe that it's time to cycle out all of you politicians that are hiding the fact that the Geneva Act needs to be put on inside of our own United States of America, on our own soil. And as the President of the United States should be taking executive order and executive command to find out what's going on, not only in the American Air Force, but in the Navy, but in the military, to find out why and how this is allowed on our United States soil, let alone this is happening globally. It's pretty obvious that this vicious cycle of crime and this vicious cycle of artificial intelligence that is able to manipulate behavior and decisions, and it has put the Democrats into position. It gave the president the ability to be our leader, and it's pretty sick and disgusting what's happened with COVID-19 and what's happened with synthetic telepathy or synthetic using infrared, using biosensors, using nanotechnology, all to steal and to hack into your most precious, most God-gifted thing, which is your brain. And as these fusion centers multiply under private entities, and as the Federal Bureau of Investigations allows these private sectors to steal your most personal, private, I mean, we're talking about the most unethical, the most unmoral boundaries in the human body. And our government is obviously quite aware of this. And I believe it was the Bush administration that signed into Homeland Security. And Homeland Security should be securing, serving, and keeping humanity safe, humans safe, our American citizens safe. And what has been done to infrastructure and energy, I'm pretty sure from our old president, I think that the Democrats took that bill, they slaughtered it, they used it like they normally have because they've been in power for so long. And they want to take your gun rights. They want to manipulate your behavior. They want to promote crime. They want to promote violence. And any politician, any senator, any governor, and anybody who's in the judicial system, the House of Legislation, the Senate, if you know of any of this psycho torment or this direct weapon energy that's being used in our country, and you're not talking about it, and you're not sharing your testimony, you're as guilty as charged. And as we have plenty of scientific evidence stating what artificial intelligence is doing, and as somebody has a private contract and tries to take over NASA and tries to start their own space expedition, I believe we should have the correct policies, the correct regulations, and I believe we need to protect our American citizens. We need to take a deeper look into what these 5G, 6G towers are doing to torment innocent human lives. And as I was struck by a train, and as I was put on a I'm not a terrorist. As a matter of fact, you have no right to have crossed any threshold into my human anatomy, to take any of my thoughts, to use any of anything that has anything to do with my body. And there are so many American citizens suffering on a 24/7 daily basis. I want to know what Homeland Security really is doing in the United States of America with DHS and these fusion centers. And I want to know how and why our constitutional rights have been completely destroyed, our ethics, and if the government has any kind of morals or values towards protecting our privacy. And it's pretty clearly evident that these fusion centers are going up faster than ever. Homeland Security is multiplying. And as we need to put more emphasis into our military, into outer space exploration, because that's where war is going to be. And that's where the future of all war is. It's not going to be fought on land anymore. It's all above. And it's pretty sad to roll out with experimental communications and technology, and to use science and technology and health to experiment on human beings. And I personally am asking the United States of America, any politician, any person aware of what a targeted individual is going through, to stand up and testify and throw your testimony and tell the truth. Because karma is real, the wrath of God will be upon you. And what has been done in the United States of America is sick. It's disgusting. And for families, for brothers, for sisters, for any loved ones that have been destroyed or that have been lost from this kind of unethical, unmoral, violent, criminal, political, and you're talking about exchange stocks, you're talking about soliciting money, you're talking about big dominant foreign influence. And this is all over power, money, and greed. And you want to take power, money, and greed, and you're going to be in the history books for what you're doing. And you're never going to be able to hide this scandal. Ever. So the first of this very select few should come out, and they should start talking about what's really going on in the United States of America. Because I personally, after being attacked by radiation intelligence and having to deal with 24/7 psycho torment and having my health and my human anatomy violated, I have every right to stand up and take action. And every other targeted individual that has been violated, you have every right to stand up and take action, because that's the law. If your life is being threatened and if your health is being deteriorated through these government funded or solicited programs, and if the Federal Bureau of Investigation wants to allow private sectors to do disgusting, horrific things to human beings, let alone animals, and if the NSA, the CIA, the ISA, or any other high-end security association wants to hide this or wants to deny this, then you are as sick as they are that is causing it. And that is fact. Nobody in their right mind would allow this kind of criminal, white-collar behavior. And this is one of the largest scandals in United States history. And for half of you United States Americans out there, you do have cerebral spyware, and they know everything about you. And in these fusion centers, your brain is just sitting there and they're collecting data. That's what they're doing. And then for any person who they don't want to live, through my experience, this is a part of the Great Reset. This is a part of population control. You are infected with a Trojan, a worm, and you have mental malware. And that is the most horrific thing to do to a human being. That's worse than being put behind bars. That's worse than, I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. And that's happening inside of our own country. So Pelosi, Biden, and all of you others, especially our Department of Justice, take a good look in the mirror and see if you have any values left. See if you are remembering anything about ethics, and realize what these DHS, what these fusion centers are doing to humans, and what 5G, 6G towers are capable of. And if we don't start putting policies and regulations on the infrastructure and the energy bills that were signed by our old president, that I'm pretty sure the Democratic Party has pretty much slaughtered and made into their own. This isn't a game. Our country and our forefathers and every person who has built this country to be what it is, the land of the free, look at what's going on inside of the United States. If they were only here to see what they have fought for and to realize that our human rights are being violated and our own government has put espionage and is stealing data out of our brains and putting it and collecting it for large corporations, for money, greed, and power. And I refuse to have to go through psycho torment. I refuse to have my health deteriorated. I refuse to have radiation intelligence put upon me anymore. And I refuse to be labeled as any kind of terrorist, let alone non-investigated subject. And for what I'm understanding through my experience of the Freedom of Information Act, I was manipulated to the mental hospital after a major lawsuit, after a major accident. I was already under attack before my train accident, and I was still under attack after my train accident. And that is horrific for any human being to go through. And I'm seeing thousands and thousands and thousands of others going through this. And for our own government not to recognize this, let alone be aware of this, this is disgusting. And every politician and every badged employee that is involved in this disgusting white-collar crime, allowing artificial intelligence to ruin our country, shame on you. How many of you corrupt, crooked politicians know about this program? Because every single one of you politicians, and this is military technology software being used. This is direct weapon energy. This is coming from the power grid. We are not stupid. And I don't think our government is that stupid, are they? Or are they that unethical, that unmoral to allow this disgusting crime to be happening? After I was misrepresented and I see my ex-supposed attorney under Homeland Security There is so much corruption in the United States of America due to the sick, greedy, grimy, unmoral, no-valued politicians in our country. And you need to remove yourself from our Senate. You need to remove yourself from the House of Representatives. And the President, you need to take a good look at your cabinet and who the Senate put in your cabinet, and take executive command and go right into the American Air Force, go right into the Navy, go right into the military, go right into aerospace, start funding it, and start finding out what they're doing. Because we haven't been at war in a long time. And at what war we are at is up there. And if we don't put more emphasis into up there, we will lose. And if our country wants to continue to blame foreign, and I'm not denying foreign dominance or foreign persuasion, let alone money. However, I am calling out the United States federal government, local government, tribal government, state government, all of you, every fusion center, everyone, FBI, NSA, aerospace, American Air Force, for all of you sick and disgusting, inconsiderate, unethical, has no values, wake up. My last video, you just purposely took my sound off of my video, and I'm using the Freedom of Information Act through my experience after what you've done to me in this country. And I refuse to watch innocent human beings being tormented and tortured while our government are like little delinquent children trying to get it right. This is the most sickest, most disgusting time in United States history. This scandal will come out. My channel will not be shut down. Who's running our country? Who's allowing this psychotic, psycho-torment, unethical voice to VK school technology to be 24/7 ran upon humanity? And who's allowed private investors and private corporations to be able to use this technology? And the Federal Bureau of Investigations, who and what are you allowing private sectors to do? You want your brain being dissected? You want everything you're doing being spied on? You want your privacy gone? Because that's what you've done in this country. You shut down 30 minutes of my other video, and I am pissed off. And I have every right to make these videos. And the United States of America will be aware of what's been going on in this country. This is supposed to be the land of the free. And it's not. Human rights have been violated. Our constitutional rights are violated. Espionage, artificial intelligence is all over your brain. In case you were wondering. What are we going to do about it? Are any of you sick, disgusting politicians, governors, senators, military, women, men, and women, which one of you who know about this disgusting, criminal, white-collar crime, you come out and you say something. and all your DHS and all your private fusion sectors, you need to shut them down immediately. In Homeland Security, I don't know who you are, what you're doing, but you should have more important things to do than to target our own human beings in our own country. You have no right. Justice will be served. I have every right to be making these videos. I have every right to share the truth with the people. This country is for the people. And you politicians, and you crooked corporations, and you private sectors that are running these sick programs over humanity, you will be sentenced to life after what you've done to targeted individuals. And the President of the United States of America, you need to take executive command and action immediately. And the corruption needs to end. And you little children, you little delinquent little, I can't even describe what you are inside of our government. You know real clearly what you're doing. Obama, you got something to say? Pelosi, I know you do. Hey, Biden, are you that confused? Or is our government that sick and twisted that you're going to allow this disgust? This is the land of the free. You have no right to do this to United States citizens. You will not get away with this. This is unjustified. And the corruption will be drained. I am lost for words after my last video for 30 minutes was completely taken away and my voice was stolen because of the things that I do know and the experience that I have gone through, which is one of the most horrific experiences any human being can go through. And yes, the Geneva Act in our own country, it needs to be used, and that's sick. And for all you uneducated, unethical, unmoral, devalued politicians, if you don't stand up and say something about what you know, may God